Hello guys, my name is Cool Yoshi and welcome to my bonus episodes of my 100% playthrough of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for Nintendo Switch. We finished the game in our last video and collected 100%, as you can already see, which I've confirmed. Now we're going to do all of the golden chambers, which are basically all the golden roads with the golden shovel here, and finishing all of those. We'll be doing this one by one to make sure they're fine. So anyways, we have to clear this similar to our modes, except we have random challenges thrown within, such as having to absolutely put areas at certain spots, and also being limited which boss to put where as well. I'm gonna do something similar to before and actually put the boss right next to the start. And also get a single staircase over here so that we can connect it to a later one, hopefully, to make this a little bit easier. Beyond that, it's just similar to what we've done before. We have to make a dungeon and then connect it to another part, and then connect that part to another. Basic stuff. It gets pretty obnoxious, though, after a while, since you have to... Only a certain room will go in one spot. This time around, I don't really care which rooms I get unless I get into the heart restriction ones. The heart restriction ones are probably going to be the only one that's reasonably difficult, because those are obviously really annoying to complete in their own rights, while also just being painful to get through in general. Because those are the ones where I could actually die in still. Well, I'll use that to connect to that so that we can teleport over there later. Again, you want to try and focus on the single rooms if you can, but sometimes you can't always do that since there's always a hard road limit, making it kind of difficult to do properly. I don't like that bombed wall thing. I'm gonna actually replace it with this instead. Of course, with a lot of the challenges, either you have to fill in all the spots, or you have to choose not to get other stuff. Effects are nice to put if the boss you have is not necessarily the nicest. Did I put the right boss in? Yeah, I did. Okay. That's what I was trying to check. We could put something like this and then just choose to skip the loop entirely. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make this a two-part dungeon, just to make it fun. Of course, we'll have to put some chest in the second part, otherwise they won't have enough to do stuff. And also, if any dungeon, it'll probably need some locked doors, so let's go with the 4 locked door one. And a random boss as well. I like how some of the special ones are even harder than the regular ones. They literally just have extra bosses you can put. I don't know why you would even put any extra bosses in, other than a couple other ones. Alright, well. That was random. Well, on that note, let's go to the thing. Again, the way we're gonna do this is to do these one by one, and I believe the adventure timer thing will tell us if we've beaten it or not. I'll tell you no timer. We have to beat all of them, so that is one thing I'll try to do. With that in mind, let's do our first golden dungeon. Sorry if this will take a little while, because some of these do take a little while to finish. Most of these will be pretty straightforward. I think the swordless ones will actually be the easiest for me, because I know how to deal with them enough that I can very much do stuff whenever I want. Okay, I don't want to go in here yet. Sorry if this gets boring, but I do want to show this off for anybody who wants to really get antsy that I'm not doing 100%. So for that purpose and that purpose only, I'm doing all of the chamber dungeons at least once, just to complete them so that we can have that finished. Most of these aren't really that bad. They're mostly limited to either timer challenges or something else entirely. Of course, yes, you probably won't necessarily see the same boss after this. I'm just trying to put a mix of bosses to make things interesting, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'll be putting in the same boss every time. There's the rupee line effect. I don't actually need any of these effects, I just thought I would put them in to make it cooler. There's the chat room off to the right. Sometimes I feel like it's nice to just put ribs off to the side there, just to make it so we don't have to deal with anything else. Of course, regardless of what we do, having the red mail and this armor at this part of the game is gonna more than likely destroy a lot of these dungeons. It's mostly interesting for actually using your skills in building dungeons to make multiple dungeons at once, because the dungeon editor portion of this is probably what's really cool. And you can make your own dungeons as well, but I won't be showing that off because all I'm trying to do is make all the gold, complete all the gold level challenges by Dompe. That being said, they're not going to necessarily be easy, though. Considering my knowledge of the game, I'll probably do it pretty quickly and also very easily. Why is it always this staircase? Can I get something different that has a different tunnel, maybe? I don't know. I've seen this tunnel like a couple of times now. I'd like to see maybe like the level 1 tunnel, maybe, just for make it easier or something else. I don't know. I guess the room I happen to pick is the one that has the staircase there, I guess. Okay, this is a forced boss fight. Yeah, it's a forced boss fight. Of course, if it's not a regular battle, I may as well put in these bosses to make it more interesting. Because if we had no guides, it would be kind of a boring dungeon if it was just a regular fill-in dungeon. So yeah, kind of just throwing stuff within. We probably won't see any re-boss battle rooms. You can do those. You can add more than one main nightmare boss into a dungeon, but it doesn't really make it any easier. Okay, done with that. I'm gonna go to this one next. Okay. We could do a corner strat on this one, so skip having to do that. There's quite a few strategies, actually, where you can skip certain rooms by doing that. This red side has been teeing me throughout the entire game. I almost always get hit by those every single time, even if it's not, doesn't immediately do me damage. It's just annoying having to deal with all that slowness. Okay. There's the nightmare key. Now we can warp straight back to the boss. I don't know what else to do, really. Here we go. Step back, take your time. How about no? No thank you, hard hit beetle. Each of these don't really have any different cards. Instead, complete each of these gold ones gives you 300 rupees. So there's not really a big reward in it for it. Except for the affinity of actually completing the dungeons and the clear option, I guess, on it. Alright. Now we have a heart restrictions one as well as required lock key dungeons as well. I'll start with the dungeon entrance in this relatively close. And then kind of just fill in the stuff with whatever, I guess. The limit of key rooms you can place in this just feels kind of annoying. Well, I'll start by throwing all the key rooms so that that doesn't have to be dealt with again. And then we'll kind of just start in the corner here and fill stuff. For new arts, I want to do a similar thing like I did before. Place all of the empty rooms onto one side first, and then place as many chests as I can in the lower right, so I can have to skip those rooms. Or rather, place all of the enemy rooms on the right side, so I never have to do any of those. Because with heart restrictions, the more ones you have to do, the better. And it's usually better to fill up the left side of the room first in that case, since the left side will often have enemies. So we'll start with this. Make sure we don't have to deal with any bosses or hard fights. This one's simple enough. We'll put that in there. Most of these will have required chest stuff, so for the starting part, I will make sure I put all the chests in this part of the room. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's avoid the electrical guys. I don't even want to deal with those guys at all. Because having to deal with any of those guys just makes it really annoying. But then I'll have to put the locked 4 door there. Okay, well, putting 1 will be fine. And we can usually skip that room, so... As long as I only have to go for that room once, it won't be that terrible. We definitely don't want to face any bosses here, while also putting all the easy rooms here, so like that one. Oh yeah, and almost forgot. I'll need a heart restriction thing to put before the boss probably at some point. But I don't know where to put it. Let's put when we leave this room on the right side. Since we have a heart restrictions, it should be a good idea to put a heart cap on here. Alright. So when we do finally reach that test, we can get some stuff done, and we probably shouldn't have done that. We should have probably done more chest stuff. Okay, let's do this chest. Okay, I'm getting tired of doing all this. Let's try and finish up with some of the other easy rooms. What are the other easy rooms? Well, this one, and then yeah, this one looks pretty straightforward enough. Throw that in. Oh, maybe it might not do that right now. I need a free room to connect to this too. Okay, that one looks simple enough. Cleared 4 room here. I said I would never put that room in there. So we'll have to put this in instead. Which makes the chest vulnerable and I have to get more. Or, actually, I could just ignore that or do something else. Okay, well, never mind. I will have to put an enemy here. That's probably where I'll take damage, but oh well. Maybe I can get something to work. Let's try and put a non-boss enemy here. I can maybe up to that to finish that, and oh wait. There's still something over here. Oh yeah, right, I forgot about this. Whoops. Oh, I need a connecting room in the side, so we'll throw in a puzzle one, sure, why not? It doesn't really change anything. And maybe we can throw a chest, like, right next to this area. Right, that was a required key door. Lots of force setting rooms here. Oh, great. We'll have to deal with one of these no matter what, I guess. I don't like those annoying lightning guys, but I don't see any other rooms that can avoid them. Now let's put back the same room we had earlier, which is this one. Which forces one of these. Which basically forces that. Alright, now we put all the boss rooms here. This is where things get a little bit tricky. We have to do all this really quick while making sure not to put any regular rooms in it. This is why I say we usually just put the boss rooms here. Make sure there's no single ones left. Okay, well, there's quite a few left here, so that's fine. If we aren't able to do this, then we have messed up something, and I'll have to redo this. And yes, this is a thing that I suggest everyone to do. When you don't want to deal with certain random rooms, you can just basically throw all the bosses into one corner. And as long as you don't put a chest there, yeah, confirmed. As long as you don't put a chest there, you don't actually have to go to that part at all. You can skip it entirely. That's what I'm setting up to do. So I'm basically putting all this in one spot so we can skip that. Of course, I need to be kind of wary how I do this. Okay, I'm setting up to have this spot on the right get blocked. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. This forward door doesn't matter. As long as we filled it in, we should be fine. And there we go, that should be action completed. And sure enough, we can record the arrangement. Now we should be safe. So now all I have to do is get all the treasure chests in the left, right, and I basically skip that entire section. That's what you want to do with heart restrictions. In certain restrictions, it's similar, except you have to be smart and not even put in any bosses that you can't beat without whacking a sword, or put them off to a different side, so... Because if you lock yourself out from completing a dungeon, then that's kind of bad. Alright, adventure. This is a long one, by the way. All of these will probably be long. Yeah. And some of these require there to be chests in the area. Okay, so we know we have to go up here. In case you haven't played a restriction dungeon before, you want to kill every single enemy in a heart restriction dungeon and be very cautious of where you're going. If you don't, you're basically dead at that point. And I put in an extra heart reaction just to make it simpler. I also put all of the albums that I could take my time in, because if I'm able to take my time in a room, then that makes it a little bit simpler. I have added the bow and arrow as well, just to make it more simpler, and we'll face bow warm at the end, just like we do before, just because that's the easiest boss for me to beat without taking damage. Okay, this is my only problem room. Because this guy can get a little bit annoying. Especially if he gets right there. Okay, never mind. Okay. Again, these dungeons will probably be slower than usual, but that's because I'm trying to focus on not dying, you see? Because if I die on these, who knows what'll happen. Oh, that was just unlucky. See, this is why I hate that road, because there was literally nothing I could do. That guy was literally right next. He was gonna hit me no matter what. Thankfully, we got our heart back, so we literally just got it right back, but that was annoying. No longer a damageless dungeon, unfortunately, but still better than dying, I guess. Way better than dying, actually. There'll be quite a few keys to that. I forget where everything is. I know one of these has a forced enemy around. Okay. Oh yeah, it's this guy. I couldn't find any easier room to do, let's be fair. No, at least they don't do that much damage, which is good. Trying to spin these guys so they don't jump away, but they're being kind of trolly right now. Yeah. My apologies if these get boring, but I'm literally just doing this just to prove to people that we've actually done the full 100% and are not doing anything boring, because yeah. There's lots of people that would be like, oh, you missed a shot. I don't want that to happen, so that's why I'm doing all this for you, to make sure we got you 100%. I'll do a similar thing if I ever run Breath of the Wild, and just to make it crazier, I'll be doing DLC as well. So, yeah. Okay, I actually have plenty of art still, even though I'm taking my damage. It's, as long as I don't go too low, I should not die. No, I'm taking more damage anymore. And you can see why you don't want to put the lightning enemies on anymore. If you take damage at all, if you put any light rooms at all, you're probably bound to take some damage, because it gets annoying. Of course, just to make sure I've littered hearts throughout the area, just so I can get back up to full. It also helps to put any rooms like this one, where you don't even have to defeat any enemies. That's why I prioritize that one room with the single hearts, and this room over everything else. Because these are free rooms where you literally don't defeat any enemies. You just walk up, pick up the thing, and that's it. And back to the nightmare area now. So now some hearts are falling down for the sky, but we don't need them. I don't care anymore. Four plus hearts should be more than enough for Moldrum, right? Right? Unless I can't hit him. Okay, that was a bad Moldrum fight. I missed too many heads there. Looks like it only did half our damage anyways. I expected it to do more. If I remember it doing a full art damage, I must be wrong. Alright, 300 rupees. Back up to full life. Those are probably my least favorite ones, since you actually have to play the game proper. Since if you put too many hard ones, you'll just die, because it's way too difficult. Oh, there's 2 timed ones. Alright. Oh wait, I need to do this one first. This one is no swords. And force chest basically everywhere. Wow, so we have to basically ignore all the dungeon oops. Well, well, let's make this at least sort of simple. We're gonna start with layer 1 over here in the lower right, so we can immediately get a chest right off the bat. And then from there, we have several force rooms that we have to do. And we'll save some stress by putting the nightmare in one of the spots that we have to go to save a little bit of time. It's swordless, so we have to pick a swordless boss, meaning Hothead is coming right back. I might do a face guy later, but I don't like him a lot. He's actually one of my least favorite, longest bosses to take out. I prefer Hothead over him, that's why I'm picking him for swordless. Since all the other characters you basically have to swing your sword for. And from there, it's basically a linear mash. We can't really change anything, we can't ignore anything, and we can't swing our swords. So we need to be cautious of what we put, so that's why we have to start doing some stuff. That being said, we do still have lots of replacements, so we're not limited to how many enemies we can clear, we're just limited to what we can do in particular. And we're gonna go ahead and put our first room here, and link that to here, which should put a spot here. And then for that, we'll put another spot over here. And link that to over here. And hope that they don't misconnect to themselves, because if that happens, that's crazy. And yes, these stairs are absolutely required, 100%. You can't skip them. That's actually kind of interesting. I'm gonna put this room in, just... Oh, wait. You know what? Yeah, I will put this in. I want to see what this does. And if it messes things up, I'll change it. Me think it is probably just gonna be another boss, but I'm guessing it will not be. Need some locked doors, so we'll go ahead and put that one in there. Okay, this is bad. I can't figure out what to do on this next one. Okay, that's a free one. We'll do that one. It's just like before, except I can't put any bad rooms in at all. That's what makes it really annoying. Okay, we really need a staircase room. This is getting really obnoxious. But it's very limited to how our staircases actually need to go. Apparently the limit seems to be I need to put one like this or something. I don't know what, but... And that one's stuck, so I can't remove that, so that's permanently stuck like that. Also, the entire thing has to be collected. Well, that makes things a lot more complicated than it needed to be. Especially considering I cannot do that without putting that out. This is gonna barely be enough. Yeah, and from the looks of it, we've actually fully blocked ourselves off. Unless we can find a link that links it up there, we're basically screwed. Oh, before we do anything else, we need a staircase, so we're gonna have to put one in here. Yeah, just as I thought, they link to each other. The staircase link is kind of random. It kind of just picks stuff based off of that. You have to pick a very specific staircase lineup in order for it to not do that. Ugh. I can't figure this out anymore. My biggest problem is right here. I can't figure out where to freaking put the staircase on the right to do the thing. Clearly, I've put this on too early, and I have to remove it for this. Or move this up higher to make it go to a different staircase. Well, this is not happening anytime soon. That one's literally blocked off. That's one of the only ones to actually have a staircase. Sometimes I just hate this game. Okay, well, maybe I could get something going with this, except I'm not sure if that'll work. It could be useful for something else, but I don't know what. Ugh. Well, I'm getting stuck on these challenges a lot more than I thought. I'm already stuck because they literally blocked off so much stuff that I'm literally unsure what to put in other than the 2 rooms on the right. And because of these spots, I can only do like 2 rooms here. In fact, I'm basically forced to remove this and do this, maybe. And then like replace that until it checks out to be proper. And speaking of which, it's glitched out again. Let's see. We just have to put these in now until they properly check to be correct. And yes, the mechanics of these staircases is really annoying. I think I figured out a solution for it. If I could just get one of them to go all the way over to the right. And then link that one to something else. Maybe we can do something correct for once. The problem is, every time you pick out one of those, it changes where the staircase actually ends up. Like, see, now it's doing that. It's really stupid. I don't know how many staircases you have to put to make this work, but it's so stupid. Ugh. It would be much simpler if I could just put one onto the side, but clearly I need more staircases than this. Also, that one can't be removed either. That one literally remains there. Ah! I can't believe I'm getting stuck on this, by the way. Just trying to get a freaking staircase finished only to have nothing appear for the longest time. And then just get blocked on both ends. Ugh. It's just so annoying. I just don't like this anymore. What's even worse is none of the rooms I put in will even help out my situation. It's literally remained like that for the entire way. So, yeah. As you can see, very limited rooms. Ugh. You know what my solution is to this, by the way? I'm just gonna throw in some stuff and add in as many staircases as I can until the staircases decide to finally shut themselves and connect up properly. So how about instead of doing nothing, we'll put every single staircase room in instead until one of them finally connects to the side that I want. This will be a lot of staircases, as you can see. About 7 probably, to be precise. But I want to do this and check every little bit until we finally get one that connects properly. That's gotten one connection, but not the way I want it to be, so we'll have to reset that later at some point. And I'm getting so annoyed with these, I'm not even checking if I can use a sword or not. Oh well. Literally all I care about is staircases. I would help if that staircase actually led to something, but it's useless, so I'm gonna have to move it up closer, even. So frustrating. What about a second one here? As you can see, I clearly have no knowledge of how to connect staircases. I'm literally just throwing it in to see if there's anything that happens. Ugh, freaking annoying. Fucking A, man. I'm just trying to get some staircases connected. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna wait and see if I can finish this later. Give me a minute and I'll be right back. Hello guys, my name is Yoshi, and as you can see, yes, I had to cheat to complete this one, so I feel kind of ashamed of myself, but I also didn't want it to take forever. So, as if you do a check, this is the complicated part I had to do, and oh my gosh, I absolutely hated this. Probably the most obnoxious part is the fact that I did not put the nightmare at the right location clearly, so I've had to move it to the side. Created a little bit of a complicated dungeon, but as far as I know, no room does not require a sword to complete, so at the moment I am done with that. So we're gonna record the arrangement and finally go on with our life, because holy crap, that took longer than it needed to be. And it's completable, so we can adventure through it, though it's probably one of the trickier dungeons. That being said, these modes are probably very easy to complete once you know what to do. However, if there's one thing I've learned, actually making these dungeons is the difficult part, clearly. Because I don't have a sword already, so I need to make stuff based off of that. I also have to make quick rooms based off of that. Have limited enemy rooms, and so much other stuff. But it's not gonna really matter. And yes, in these rooms, you want to have the bow as your weapon. Or either that or the boomerang, because you can use that along with the boomerang to complete rooms really quickly. So yeah. Beyond that, these rooms aren't actually that difficult. It's literally the magical boomerang / magic rod show, really. I just go around whacking stuff with the magical rod, and that's about it. And occasional, dashes once in a while. Of course, we want to try and avoid dashing whenever we can, since we can't really do stuff. But yeah. And the way I had to do this, I had to set up 2 staircases to be right next to each other. The others didn't matter, but I had to also put some of those out to make it easier and other stuff. The only easy part about these dungeons is, as you can already see from before, there are no heart requirements in this one. So we have full hearts to complete this dungeon, meaning we'll more than likely beat it as long as we don't suck. The problem is actually setting up the dungeon. That's what makes it difficult. Beyond that, these are actually some of the easiest dungeons, because it's literally even boring than usual gameplay, because now it's like, all you want to do is... Oh my gosh, I keep on messing this up. Okay, I got it. Alright, fine. I'll take that. As long as I'm able to get out of this area. I still think this is one of the easiest games to 100%. Like, it's usually very rare to go through a Legend of Zelda game without game over at least a couple of times. Even on Link to the Past, one of my favorite games, I've easily game over like a couple of times when I first played through. These games are not easy to take down. And if I were to like really die on one, it'd probably be the original Legend of Zelda, just due to all the stuff that can hit you and all the stuff. And also due to the fact that it has one of the worst early games ever. It's really hard to collect HP in NES Legend of Zelda. I did play through that, doing all 2 quests on my NES Classic one time, off screen of course. But I died several times trying to get through it. It was not a pleasant experience by any means. Keep in mind, we are able to use our shield as well. That is one thing I always forget about. Is that, in addition to doing other regular stuff, you can also use your shield. That's a thing that a lot of people forget about. That you can press R to use your shield. I haven't been using my shield much, because I don't really see a good use for it. That's the problem, I guess. Now, you can probably already see the problem with this dungeon. No matter what we do, we have to go to 3 of the specific quarters no matter what. So regardless, it's going to be a long dungeon no matter what. So I basically just slotted in some random stuff as close to end as possible. Most of these side rooms are completable, thankfully, without a sword. So we don't have to worry about that. I'm just worried if I'll be able to get through all of it in a timing matter. And this one does not require us to defeat anything because the haste is already there. And yes, we prefer to go for rooms that do not have enemies to defeat in them, because if we try to defeat any enemies, it gets crazy. And yes, I did put a boss room in the right side. I believe that does not require a sword to complete, but it is also a really annoying room, so I'm not sure if I want to do that. Oh, that's cool. You can burn these guys' heads off with the fire rod. I've never seen that before. I never know that you could do that. And then, looks like we're gonna have to just do it with the arrows. Can you just die already, please, and thank you? Alright. And yes, if you are playing original NES or Zelda, if you do an actual full Surdra's run, you get to a point where you literally are only using bombs for like 90% of the game. It's not fun. But I know it's actually go back to the phase at hand, which is... I forgot. Oh, wait. Actually, I can use this staircase. So I will take it just for fun. What is it? Is the weak one. It does have some piranha plants, but nothing too hard. So we'll take it to skip a couple rooms and find out we have to do this puzzle again. I'm not getting really annoyed at the puzzle, I'm just doing other stuff. Also, that is terrible pattern from that Keese. I've never seen him do that before. Literally went right in my way. Had no choice but to wait there. Okay, I think I want this, yeah. Yeah, we have to open every chest to complete this dungeon, so at minimum, we're forced to go into all the spots at least once. I figure may as well add at least some chests to make it more interesting. Because I saw the other guy that I got the theme from, he didn't really put many chests in his dungeon, so I thought I would add more into mine just to make it more interesting. There we go. Thinking that I want to do the thing, but forgetting that I don't have this. Thankfully, you can frame tab a lot of stuff there, so like by mashing a button, I was still able to get off the rock feather before enemies attacked and sort of killed me, which is good. Also, we have to clear this room at some point, so may as well clear it now to remove the door. That is when you just tell that I'm getting bored of waiting for stuff. Also, the magic rod's probably not actually the best. I just realized I may have blocked myself out of completing this dungeon just because of this room. I always forget about this room, too. The one at the loop that you literally can't complete from the right. Unless you find some weird strategy to do on it. Because you can't magic powder, you can't use our stuff. And our things. I may just have to remove that one room. That's really annoying. That's gonna waste even more time now, because I'm gonna have to go through all that again. I'm gonna go after range and replace that room with a better room, I guess. I always forget that room even exists, by the way. Continue raging. Oh, it's forced. Oh, it's forced. Well, that's annoying, because now I have to add a single room to my dungeon that actually does stuff. So we need to find something that has a switch. Unless I already have one. Not that one, clearly. So we need to replace one of our side rooms with a thing that hits a switch. But where is it? The simplest one to do, obviously, clearly, is to put the side one with the right. But that's too far up. Well, in that case, I'll just swap these two rooms. And see. That. Okay. Okay, there we go. That fixes that problem. I'm gonna record the arrangement. And we'll at least finish this dungeon to finish off the thing, because holy crap, this is getting kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that we have to deal with any service rejections and other lockouts just make it really annoying. I probably should have added a switch in at some point. So we're looking for the ones that are done. Those are the ones we haven't cleared yet. So we have to clear all of these. Oh, great. Well, we get to do this again. Don't you just like using bomb arrows to blow up all the stuff? That actually is probably one of the best ways of clearing out enemies. Using bomb arrows to do stuff. Just being able to instantly open it up is pretty cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna do this room a little bit differently now that I know that that room is forced. So, we're gonna do our route a little bit differently. It's not gonna really change much, just gonna be a little bit more annoying. Also, I can't do the full route because my full route has a dungeon on the right that I always forget about. I guess we're gonna have to do normal route again. So we'll do this side area, then go back to it, then collect all the chests there, and then from there head to somewhere else. Also, this is a much different side room this time. I should probably still be dashing for the entire dungeon. I just don't feel like doing it enough. So now, rather than this becoming other stuff, this is Boomerang and Bond Arrows, the video game. That's literally all we're using. By the way, I've never seen a boomerang this overpowered before. If I remember from Link to the Past, it's usually one of the worst items in the entire game. In this game, it's like, I don't care. The boomerang is actually one of the most overpowered items in the game. Because not only does it do a lot of damage, but it's also surprisingly easy to attain. For a side quest chain that is long, but is not too bad to complete, really. Just, yeah. Okay. Oh, come on. Well, that was annoying. I did not need that. Some terrible fights right now with the bow and arrows and other stuff. It's really annoying. I'm still kind of contemplating whether bow and arrows or boomerang is best, but boomerang's probably better just because it's easier to confirm your shots, I guess. But that's just a small thing, really. Do I do it? No. I'm gonna wait to do it until later, like use the warp. Yeah, that's what I'll do. This will be kind of a hard time, but it's fine. A lot of these videos might end up being like that. If I actually die in a solo side, by the way, I'm gonna be kind of annoyed. Because considering how easy I've made most of these dungeons, it should not be happening. I'm just failing like crazy. Yeah. Okay, now I should do a warp. So I don't have to do this part again. Or one or part again. We're using this still quite a bit to warp around. So back to the entrance we go. Sure enough, it is back to that thing that I don't like. We need to change it to red in this case to get through, so we need to make sure it's red. That means we'll have to wait until we complete all the other levels at least twice. What I meant to say by that is, I mean, going over there and getting all the chests on the left, and then going all the right and getting all the chests. So no matter what, we have a lawn right ahead of us. But let's at least damage boost for this. I don't really see any other good way of getting that, other than maybe waiting, but who waits for stuff nowadays? Except on bomb areas. Like, now that I've learned the bomb arrow technique, it's like, I'm very tempted to not use it. Okay. Clearly need bomb arrows here. Double shot there with the bomb arrows. Having to sacrifice a lot of health, though, when they get through it. Bombs certainly do a number on your health, that's for sure. Again, we have to open all these chests to get the nightmare key, so it's not easy by any means. Okay, I'm probably not gonna make that, considering how long it took me to get that chest. Oh no! Okay, we just barely made it. Okay. Oh, come on. All that does is stun him? How am I supposed to knock you around? Okay, well. Oh, wait a minute. I could just do this. That's why. Always forget about my friggin' shield. For So when you don't have a sword, you just bonk them off. That's even sillier than actually using a sword. I initially thought they had to be bonked off using a sword, because that's what I always use, but clearly that is not necessarily. I'm still kind of frustrated at my hearts. I need to make sure that I have hearts. And yes, we're not doing any bosses, because putting in any bosses will just make it take longer. I'd rather not have that happen. Much better than the other rooms. Especially considering I no damaged it as well, which is nice. Oh yeah, of course, and on the time limits we have to do other stuff. Okay, I think this is where we have to use the bow or shield. Or that, we could just boomerang him to death. Okay. Sheesh. I've just rediscovered how OP the boomerang is. Absolutely shreds those guys. Didn't even stand a chance. And we got Guardian Acorn as well. Probably gonna be useless, except it just bought a bit of damage, so never mind. Considering how little damage you take, that's usually one of the most useless items in the game. You usually want the other one, the Piece of Power, where you get 50% more attack power for a limited amount of time. And yes, I'm doing this just so I don't have to walk for these rooms again. I just realized I could have just teleported back anyway. Okay. So I did forget one thing. I was so concerned about doing that thing to the right that I completely forgot about this. Okay, well, whatever. Could you get out of the way this time, please? I still feel kind of low. Like, I feel like I have a lot more power than this. Yeah. And yes, like I said, I struggled with the stair placement on this. I know that in order to set up the stair placement, you had to do that another thing. Okay, I think I do have to actually use the combo for this. Or for the easy mode, burn it off and then... Oh my gosh, could you actually hit him? There you go. Finally decided to die. Giftos are kind of annoying to beat without a sword. Alright. Alright. Almost done. A long dungeon, that's for sure. And yes, all these are not actually going to be easy dungeons at all. They're actually going to be probably long dungeons, except for the timed ones that can be done in less than 3 minutes. Those will be really quick. This one, no. No, it will not be quick at all. Again, the Stealthful's gonna be the worst power ever. Before I say to take damage. You know what? I'm just gonna take damage. There we go. It's because I take so long to use the pot strategy, clearly. Alright. Okay. Finally got the Nightmare Key. Jeez Louise, that took longer than I needed to. I think we spent almost a half an hour on a certain dungeon around. Way too hard. Hopefully the next ones won't give us a problem this time. Because clearly you need to stop getting ones where you have to fill in all the space. Now, the actual speedrun doesn't require this for 100%, because clearly it takes way too long and it'd be really boring anyway. Okay. Now the magic rod fight against, with half as such health. I could easily do it. This is not actually a hard fight. It's really press fire on the video game and win. Except I keep on missing. There we go. We finally hit him. Jeez, that took way longer than it needed to be. Why is this hothead taking long? This is a terrible hothead fight so far. Last time I broke him open almost immediately. This one, I'm just getting hit like crazy. I can't even hit him properly. There we go. Okay, now we get to the mash part. Ugh. That should have been over at least a minute ago. That was a terrible hard fight. I need to do better than that. Hopefully our next serverless dungeon I could get a better kill than that. Well, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.